We're here again in my backyard, and it looks like this today. We're going to talk about Terry Callier. Today's tie time, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. First, I wanted to quickly explain about what the PSA series is. If you've watched my other analysis videos, you probably know that I'm a music theory nut. But no amount of harmonic alchemy is worth a dime if the music doesn't make you feel something. I'm doing these public service announcements as an outlet for me to discuss music that is really special to me due to powers outside and beyond music theory analysis. These are selections whose magic stems from arrangement, execution, production, and emotional content. Elements I felt I couldn't shed light on through my typical piano analyses. I'm spotlighting artists whom I believe are criminally overlooked and under-discussed, with the hopes that you'll listen to these albums for yourself and share them with others. Who is Terry Callier? Terry Callier was a Chicago-based singer-songwriter who recorded 6 albums from 1968 to 1979. He retired from music in the 80s to focus on caring for his daughter, took a job in computer programming at the University of Chicago, and went back to school to pursue a degree in sociology. In the late 80s to 90s, his early recordings experienced a rediscovery in Britain. He was performing and recording again a bit on the side. When his colleagues at the University of Chicago learned of Callier's double life as a professional musician, he was apparently dismissed by the university. A fact which I've read over a few times and I still find a little hard to fathom. Mr. Callier, we found out that you're a rock star and I'm afraid that you're going to have to go. You're just a little too cool to teach the kiddos computer science anymore. Probably spring of 2021, I was in a particularly dry spell of music discoveries when I hit my lowest low. I was logged into my partner's Spotify account looking for playlists. I typed the keywords new folk. I was really into a few songs by the band Big Thief at the time, and I guess I was trying to follow that trail. Instantly, this album, The New Folk Sound of Terry Callier, pops up from all the way back in 1968. I had no idea who this was, but I was hungry. I found the title and the rusty monochromatic album cover intriguing and put it on. I was spellbound by this man's performance. The simple yet rich accompaniment of 2 upright basses and softly finger-picked guitar trances had a deep, deep sound you could lose yourself in. It set the scene of an open plain, above which Terry's dynamic and emotive voice could soar like a bird. His delivery immediately took you with him into the story he was telling. It's one of the most inviting records I know, and I return to it often. I was also pleased to hear his tender rendition of the American folk song Cotton-Eyed Joe, which apparently predates the Civil War. My generation was scarred for life by the 1994 Eurodance version performed by Rednecks with an X, which is often associated with the nausea of 8th grade dances. Somehow, for 5 minutes and 25 seconds, Terry was able to wash away the smell of Axe body spray and the feelings of intolerable awkwardness. A little backstory on the New Folk Sound record. Terry had recorded these sessions in 1964 at the age of 19, following his audition for Chess Records. His producer Samuel Charters, who oversaw the sessions, dropped the ball and journeyed to Mexico for 3 years, taking the masters with him and delaying their release until 1968. Callier only knew that the album was out when his brother told him that he saw it for sale at an antique store in Chicago. His early career's momentum was greatly thwarted by this delay. I moved chronologically onto Terry's 1972 album, Occasional Rain. I'm gonna have to pause this. That was weird. Anyway, I moved on chronologically to Terry's 1972 album, Occasional Rain. The upgrade from the New Folk Sound featured full band arrangements and Terry's own songwriting versus the traditional songs on the former. I was so excited to hear this. It was a stunning singer-songwriter album that dabbled in psychedelia and bordered on being a concept album, with segues interspersed that appear to be 5 cuts from a blues original called Go Head On. It's an interesting idea you don't hear often, and I'm still bouncing around between possible narrative implications of having this one song woven like a thread at the seams of the other pieces. The first song proper, after segue 1, Ordinary Joe is one of my personal favorites here. An apparent manifesto for what's to come, it explores the isolation and exhaustion of going through life an ordinary person making ends meet. It offers warnings against the rhetoric of public figures and the imposition of society's values on our own self-worth. It's an upbeat yet disheartening track that seems to say you're all alone, but I'm here too. I've started to read it as a birth of sorts. You've just been planted here on Earth in a hot instant. The beat is lively and hard to keep up with on your wobbly, fresh legs, but you found a friend to guide you through the chaos of the city streets and show you the ropes. He's a little bit jaded and rough around the edges, but he's giving it to you straight because he cares. The verses get capped off with the aching refrain, "I've seen a sparrow get high and waste his time in the sky. He thinks it's easy to fly. He's just a little bit freer than I." Trance on Sedgwick Street carries on in this vein, a gorgeous and introspective commentary on the confusion and hypocrisy of human behaviors as we float through life in the trance of our own needs, greeds, and personal tumult. The rhythmic acoustic guitar picking and cello drive the song forward in a straight line, indicative of this tunnel vision type of mentality. That plea to be let in on someone else's pain shows up most viscerally on the tracks "Do You Finally Need a Friend" and "Lean on Me." The former is a wrenching performance from Terry that begins with the lines, "I was so sorry when your luck ran out and the crowd just passed you by. Well, now you're learning what it's all about. Do you still have the will to try?" The song culminates in Terry practically screaming this question, "Do you finally need a friend?" repeatedly in ramping intensity. Occasional rain's gently plucked acoustic guitar drifts over us like a rain cloud that hasn't quite made up its mind. The whole track retains this suspended feeling as droning pastoral textures form the haze around Terry's lone vocal and guitar performance, where he meditates on the interferences and changes that weather impose on us. A subtle yet effective metaphor that is pretty much timeless in my book. I feel like the message can be best summarized in this line. "And blue you, don't believe I'm talking to you. The light is shining through you, still you will not see. Blue you, think I'm trying to undo you, when I only want to seek the truth and speak true." To me, Occasional Rain is a poetic testament to human suffering. It bears the philosophy that the beauty of this life is even more palpable in the presence of pain and hardship, and that genuinely loving and caring for others in their time of need is the greatest purpose we could ever aspire to. At least that's what I got out of it. Let me know what you think of this album and the rest of Terry's work. Check it out. Thanks for watching.